Like all the best players, when you're a top draft pick, you get drafted to one of the worst teams. So not saying that we are the worst team, but I'm just saying it's going to be take time for us to get better and be patient. I want the fans to just be patient with us. It's going to take time. We're trying to get better every day and give us some grace.
What happens when a so-called franchise player lights her own locker room on fire with one interview? When the athlete your front office crowned as the future becomes the headline for all the wrong reasons. That is exactly what just happened with Angel Reese, and the fallout has the entire league buzzing like a broken stadium speaker. This is not just a random whistle. This is a franchise in crisis. A locker room divided, legends disrespected, a front office that sacrificed tomorrow only to get blamed today. This is the slow-motion car crash of a team that tried to hand the keys to a star who never learned to drive in traffic. Meanwhile, in Indiana, Caitlin Clark is out here building a real program with patience, professionalism, and receipts. First, let me take you straight into the moment that blew the roof off Chicago.
If I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. It's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming now.
Stop bringing me these players, I want the best of the best. That is what Reese told reporters, and the delivery was anything but subtle. In one breath, she managed to call her teammates disposable, sending the message that the current roster was beneath her. She insisted she was tired of losing, tired of the constant embarrassment, and tired of always staring up at the standings. Her solution, presented like a demand instead of leadership, was simple enough. Bring in stars, or she is gone. But here's the real problem. That is not leadership. It is entitlement dressed up in neon lights. Real leaders unite a room, they shoulder the blame, they admit when they are wrong, and then go fix it. Reese skipped every step of that process and went straight to public humiliation, essentially telling her front office to replace these players or lose her. Imagine being a rookie fighting for 10 minutes of playing time and waking up to see the face of your franchise announce that you do not belong beside her. That is not culture building. That is culture demolition in broad daylight. The fallout inside the Sky Locker room was immediate and ugly. Reports say every player saw the comments and the anger spread fast. It grew so heated that management had to organize an emergency meeting just to keep the season from collapsing. That is not leadership. That is full-scale damage control. And the most telling part of all is this. The team did not rally around Reese. They rallied around the idea that she was the problem.
2 seconds to go. Vandersloot, the running three as time expires to give the Sky the lead at halftime.
Sloot with the takes. What a move from Courtney Vandersloot to give Chicago the 2-point edge. Major contributors this year. Here's one, Gabby Williams on the run, and the finish. Sloot with the pin-perfect pass. Here's Copper. Quick. Feeding Vandersloot. Gets hit hard. Body, bucket, and one.
Filling the lane where she's usually feeding, but filling the lane, getting to the rim.
Teammates are coming.
One of the ugliest shots did not land on rookies or bench pieces. It landed right on Courtney Vandersloot. Yes, that Courtney Vandersloot, 2-time champion, 5-time All-Star, floor general with a graduate degree in winning. Reese brushed her off as too old to count on. We cannot rely on Courtney to come back at that age.
What a moment before this game started. Courtney Vandersloot getting her championship ring. A point guard on this squad a season ago tore her ACL in Chicago back in June and back in the building. What a special moment finally getting that championship ring.
Let that sink in. A rookie with barely a resume took a shot at a legend with real rings and records. That insult didn't just hit Vandersloot, it rippled through every veteran in the league. You do not dismiss a point guard who has orchestrated championships. That is arrogance, not leadership. And here is the twist. Vandersloot left a championship-caliber Liberty team to help Chicago. That should have been a rallying point, but Reese's careless words turned it into a grenade. She pulled the pin herself, and now Chicago is drowning in the fallout. The issue here is that the Chicago Sky is already built around Reese. They gave up Sonia Citrone, a Rookie of the Year candidate who turned into an all-star almost overnight to bring in Ariel Atkins. Championship experience, real scoring, veteran presence, the exact profile Reese claimed she needed. The front office pushed all their chips in the middle to show they believed in her. They handed Reese exactly what she claimed to need, bringing in Ariel Atkins to provide scoring, veteran experience, and championship pedigree. It was their way of saying, Here is your help. Here is your leadership in the room. Here is the blueprint for turning this roster into a contender. But instead of showing gratitude or stepping into the role of a leader, Reese responded with yet another round of public demands, insisting it still was not enough. Reese's comments did not end with the veterans either. She directed the same dismissive tone toward the younger core, sending the message that Haley Van Lith, Rachel Bannum, and even Atkins herself were not the kind of players who could carry a playoff push, and the impact was immediate. Veterans felt insulted, younger players felt pushed aside, and coaches were left trying to manage the tension. Instead of uniting the roster, Reese fractured it, and the only thing the locker room seemed to share was the belief that their so-called centerpiece was the one holding them back. Instead of sparking a rally, those comments created a quiet consensus. The issue is not us, it's her. When that thought plants roots in a locker room, no highlight reel and no post-game quote can fix it. Trust leaves first and wins leave right after. This is where everything collapsed for Reese, as her 8th technical foul of the season triggered an automatic suspension, leaving no gray areas and no chance for leniency, because the rule is the rule. What makes it even worse is the timing, because this was not some meaningless game on a quiet Tuesday night. It happened right before the marquee matchup the entire country had circled: the Chicago Sky against the Indiana Fever, Angel Reese against Caitlin Clark. The league had built promotions around it, fans had planned road trips to see it, and the hype was so high that even the popcorn orders were ready. Yet Reese managed to take herself completely out of the spotlight on the biggest stage her team had.
And watching the bottom of your screen. Good contact by Reese. You can see Angel's.
Then, on a rebound play, Reese caught Aaliyah Edwards in the head and the whistle blew. That 8th technical meant an automatic suspension and a seat on the sideline. It was not injury, it was not rest, it was pure lack of discipline at the exact moment her team needed composure. That is not unlucky timing. That is bad judgment that erased her from the very matchup the league had hyped for weeks. Here is where the split screen tells the truth. While Reese was tearing the drywall off her own house, Caitlin Clark was renovating a franchise with patience and a paintbrush.
And Cunningham is down behind the play, but they've got Caitlin Clark. It's very coolly. Two players with incredible Caitlin again, she's calling for the ball from Cunningham.
Clark entered the league under the biggest spotlight we have seen in years. Every move was a headline, every mistake was a segment, and she handled it all like a pro from day one. Even when she could not play, she cheered. She drew up reads for teammates on the bench. She praised opponents in public. She kept the temperature of her room set to calm.
It's for the Aces right now, and there's Angel Reese, not going to be in this one. She's played in 30 games, had 30 starts.
And there, Ariel Atkins sitting right next to her.
Yep.
That's another double-digit score, 13 points a game. Not able to play today.
Atkins was questionably out, the back injury as well.
When Reese was injured, she chose to stay home, leaving no calming presence on the bench, no steady voice for a young roster, and no glue to hold the group together. Clark, on the other hand, still gave her team gravity even when she was in a hoodie, and that contrast is more than a minor detail. It is a canyon. The difference shows on every possession. With Clark on the floor, Aaliyah Boston plays with freedom and dominance in the paint. Kelsey Mitchell steps into rhythm jumpers with confidence, and Sophie Cunningham finds the corners right on time. Clark does not simply score. She alters the geometry of the entire court for everyone in her jersey.
We're back home, baby, let's go! Back in the W column. Well, I got the challenge. That's a big job, baby! Point guard. Now!
Indiana Fever has gone from lottery whispers to a team that looks like a playoff lock, with sold-out crowds, record attendance, and sponsors rushing back to be part of a franchise that suddenly feels alive again. Chicago Sky, on the other hand, looks like a team stuck playing whack-a-mole with constant problems, limping through a 10-win, 30-loss season filled with drama morning, noon, and night. Fans are already asking if the front office regrets tying the rebuild to a player who seems allergic to accountability. The most brutal part is that the Sky sometimes look better without her. As the ball moves quicker, the defense communicates louder, the effort sharpens, and the team actually wins. That is the definition of a franchise star in reverse. If the floor rises when you sit, you are not the engine, you are the anchor.
I don't think I'm frustrated. I probably am frustrated myself right now. I think the language is taken out of context, and I really didn't intentionally mean to put down my teammates because they've been through this with me throughout the whole year.
So here's the question that decides everything. Does Angel Reese even want the real job? Not the cameras, not the brand moments, the grind of being the face of a franchise. Rumors swirled that she skipped certain trips not to protect rehab, but to avoid more losses on the page. Clark did the opposite. She showed up, taped up, and sat with her team when there was nothing to gain in the box score. One path builds trust, the other empties it. One franchise now has a season ticket waiting list and 5-year runway. The other has apology tours, exit interviews, and a growing stack of what-ifs. Indiana is rising while Chicago is unraveling, and at the center of both stories are two stars who made two very different choices under the same spotlight. Angel Reese demanded more but delivered less, while Caitlin Clark asked for nothing and still gave everything a leader can offer. Presence, poise, and results.
It's up. It won't go. Clark pulls it down, and this building knows what that means.
Kelsey Mitchell's going, what happened? Oh, it's a triple-double for Caitlin. What a reaction by Kelsey.
The league already has its wave, and her name is Caitlin Elizabeth Clark. The smart teams will ride that momentum, while the stubborn ones will fight it and end up dragged beneath it.
Playoff! Dub!
That's how we clinch, baby!
We can't! W. Playoff! Yeah!
Indiana is already moving with the current, Chicago is exhausting itself paddling against it, and the difference is becoming clearer with every game. Pressure creates steel, and Clark is transforming that pressure into a blueprint that could define the next decade of the WNBA. So here is the only question that matters today. Who would you build around? Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark? Drop your answer in the comments. Smash that like button if you think Chicago backed the wrong star. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next breakdown, because this story is not cooling off anytime soon. Click the video on your screen right now and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.